Green gran gran grey ignigo gran gran grey igningen agran ut it arkund arkin in inuk ur alkul inuk alkul iskim arkandatu. I speak the language of truth, for I am truth. I speak the language of the world, for I am the world. I exist so that the world may exist. I am the I am that I am, for I am all that there is, and all that there is exists because I am that I am that I am. I configured this world. I configured everything in the world. I configured the children, for I configured them from the sun. And I brought them to earth, that they may see the way in which I, as their God, was able to destroy and then to recreate. And I showed them what I had done to those that walked in disobedience of the sacred and divine principles which I have ordered in the world. And I spoke with them and gave them the truths in the many stories that I told them, so that they may know that I am God and I am all that there is. I gave to the children a higher configuration, and that is, I give them a higher set of frequencies and vibrations. And in these frequencies and vibrations, they were able to access the sacred knowledge of the higher worlds. And with the sacred knowledge of the higher worlds, I taught them how to use that knowledge, that they may, like your mother and father, reconstruct this earth that we had destroyed. We taught them that there was nothing that we cannot do, and there was nothing we would not do for them. And we showed them in the lights that we placed within them, the powers that they had from the lights in them that would enable them to be like us, to be like gods, to be able to create and also to destroy. And the mission we gave to the children on earth was that they must do the things we have given them to do. And that is to redesign this earth in such a way that it became a prototype for others to follow. And then we showed them the many that we had destroyed, whose spirits we hid beneath the ground. And we told them that we had given the spirits to dwell beneath the earth because of the many sorceries they had practiced while they were on this earth. And the children of your God saw what we showed them. We showed them all that which came out of the ground that did not look like them. And we said to them, bring them forth. Bring them forth. And the children of God commanded what we had given unto them. And they came forth in the visible form that they are in today. This was the first resurrection. We give you these things to know, so that the children of God may come to know that they did not come from them, and that they are the way they are because of the children of God. You tell them that it is because of you that they exist. And because they exist as lesser beings, they have not the way to know how it is that you, as greater celestial beings, were able to show them the powers you had when you were gods. And when the children brought them forth, we said to the children of God, remember these things that we tell you. Say unto them only that which is given to be known. For there are things that are sacred and divine of your Father and Mother God, that is of your higher vibrations, that cannot be known to them. Do only for them the things that we have given to be done, so that in all the ways that you may give only that which we command that they receive. And then we said to our children, all that which is sacred and divine of your Father and Mother God given to you, never ever teach nor show them how it is done and for what purpose it is done, so that when you engage in the sacred rituals of the divine, do so in a sacred dwelling place. And we gave the children of God that they must take this as an oath unto your Father and your Mother God, that should they break the oath given unto them, everything will turn against them, and they will walk in the long suffering of what would come to them. And these things were never known to the children, because the children of God did not keep faith with your God. They lost the transfiguration to be able to go back and forth between the sun and the earth, because they lost the configurations that were given to them that enabled them to adapt the various frequencies and vibrations necessary to transport them to the higher celestial realms. We have said unto them that they know not what they have done, but in the end we will make known the truth to them. For we shall send you a messenger, and he shall be our way, our truth, and our light, that in illuminating the path for you, he would show you the way to return back to the sacred and divine principles that is of your mother and father God. All these things that we have given you to teach and to preach, in the sermons that we have given to give to them, and in the stories we have told you to write and show them, are all the ways that we too spoke with them. For when your God created all of mankind, your God edified them in stories. And God taught them that from very little as babes, they told stories to their young ones, because that was the way God communicated the sacred knowledge to the children of God. Everyone in this world writes stories, and they also tell stories. And no man asks himself, what is the origin of stories? How are we able to tell them? And why do they communicate the different messages to us that we receive? No man was able to know these things, because we didn't give man to know these things. And the children of God did not remember these things, because they lost everything that is sacred and divine of your Father and Mother God. They found themselves always under the tutelage of lesser beings. No man asks your God, from whence came all these beasts of the fields and fowls of the air and creatures of the deep? For you told us that you created us in your own image and likeness. But when we look around, we saw other creatures and beings that are not like us. So how are we to know that we are in your image and likeness, and other things are not in your image and likeness? God said, son, son of man, son of man, teach, and let them know why the truth was hidden from them. For when they came here, and God showed them the wrath of God, God showed them that when they called forth the spirits and commanded that they be made visible, they also came forth as beasts. So every beast that is in this world, every fowl of the air that is in the world, every creature in the deep that is in the world, they were all once like man. Teach these things, because no man can tell any man how it is that all these different types and designs of beasts fowls of the air, creatures of the deep happen to exist, and exist where they are given to exist. No man knows these things. For your God did not create them. They came out of the distorted ways of men. And God got angry, and God changed them up that they may no longer walk upright before God, carrying the image and likeness of God. It is these distorted shapes and forms that your God referred to as demons of earth. And no man doesn't understand why God told them, you too are marked in the way in which the numbers of demon beasts exist. You too are marked in that way. And every way man said it is 666, God said, turn it around, you'll get 999. Turn it around, you'll get 666, and turn it around, you get 999. It is the same 6 and 9. It is the same 6 and 9. And so God showed everybody the beastly ways of man, in the terrors that man commit on earth, in the atrocities that he does, and all the many destructive ways that he acts. That is the way you are marked in the number of the beast. That is why God told the children, no good can come out of them. No good can come out of them. God wanted the children to know why they were chosen. And God wanted them to know they were chosen because God did not assign to them that nature that is of the beast. But God said, they forsook the ways of your father and mother God. They followed the ways of these evildoers. And in so doing, they too adopted the ways of the beast. And you must tell them that your God keeps trying them. Your God keeps testing them. And tell them, whatever I have asked you to do, that you either ignore doing, or you give only as little as you can, God has marked you in that way. Because God told every one of you who testified how good God was to you, how God delivered you when no one else could. God said to you, to whom much has been given, much is owed to God. And when you own nothing in this world and you have everything in this world, God's goodness and love is what enabled you to have it. And God's goodness and God love give it to you, that in every way you received in abundance from God, give abundantly that which God has given to you. God says, son, they don't know your God. They have lost the way to know God, and they have lost the way to know how God's judgment will come to them, and it will come to them, and you will tell them so. Whatever you refuse to give, God will take it all away from you. However way you act in the way in which God tests you, so will the judgment of God be given unto you. Because God said, you tell them all the time, the doors have been left slightly ajar. God says, son, the door is almost closed. Let he who hear what you say to them, believe what you say to them, let them be granted the pardon of God, that they may find a way to come to God in the open door God makes available to them. Those who hear and hear not, so will your God teach them. Why God cannot be mocked. Why in all the ways that they said to many, I love God, I believe in God, God is my only helper, they had become hypocrites and proselytes unto God. We judge this world in all the ways that we have told you to tell them, that mankind would experience suffering on a scale never ever before witnessed upon this earth. And they who are caught up in the judgment shall know suffering that they too have never ever before known. This is the last warning of God to the world. It is the last warning of God to the children of God. Turn away from these selfish ways. Turn away from these evil ways. Follow not the ways of evildoers. Return to placing your trust not in man, but in your Father and Mother God. Desist from doing the things that you are told to do by a lesser people. For God will judge you according to the way in which you listen, you hear, you believe, and you act. God will judge you. Shinimi iniminti kinta kondo sokore kinda kado se. Idimeni glande lokoda sikreti se aise. Shumbundo itiki sikla kandado na ise. Let the lands of the children of God be protected from that which is coming. Let those who dwell in the land be given the armor of God to wear so that no harm and danger will come near to them. Let the children know that they serve a mighty, mighty God.